Alright guys, in this we're going to go over environment lights. So we've got two that I tend to use, and let's see what those two are. First off, we're going to, not with the planetary. We're going to start with the daylight environment. Ah, so pretty. Okay, so for our daylight environment, the only thing you really need to know is turbidity is the amount of atmosphere. So we can actually turn up the atmosphere and soften out the lights and make it blown out. It's how much particles are in the air. I do not know, but I know that it softens it up and it kind of makes it a little bit, not hazier, but just adds more atmosphere between you and the sun. Now, power is the power, and most of this is driven by the dynamic light. And if it's not driven by the dynamic light, go to your render target. See the sun mode, go to dominant, select dominant, and then the dominant light will be your directional light. And then it was already linked together, but if it's not, you can relink them. And when you slide one, you slide the other. The different models are Octane is the one I'm using right now. The other ones are more realistic and hold. Some, like this one, the H, I'm not pronouncing any of these, doesn't have a ground, so there's no atmosphere on the ground, which is true, but that means you have to make sure your horizon and things go all the way to the distance. The other ones are, what is this one has the ground isn't black. So play with them. I pretty much tend to stick with the H one for the most part. It's the most realistic, especially for indoor scenes. It puts in a lot of light and bounces around really well. It's a pretty good model. It doesn't, my color management's a little bit easier. The whatever this name is really pretty also. So you can't really go wrong. Play with them. Check out some of the settings. Every one seems to be a little bit more accurate, and they have their own place and time. I know that this one I use a lot for outdoors, and then the Hoshin I use for the Wiki Daylight model I use for indoors. Next, HDRIs. When you import HDRI into Unreal and you change this maximum texture size so it looks the same on Octane and Unreal, it has to compile a cube map. It will take 10 minutes. Or hopefully your computer's faster than mine. Next, HDRIs. Let's go ahead and change our daylight to texture. And then texture, we're going to go to, it should say no node, but go ahead and change it to RGB image. Now, I'm going to drag and drop it on. Okay, first thing, gamma is going to be 2.2, node to gamma. And then you're going to start clicking down through all of these settings. It's going to go projection, spherical transform, and then if you want it higher, adjust the translation on the Y. So if I go 0.1, it's going to put it really high. Negative 0.1, it's going to put it lower. And then rotation on the Y. All right. And that is it for those two things. Daylight and, direct lighting and HDRIs.